行くぜ、恐竜ラッパ。俺としたことが切り捨てるのみ。胸やったぜ。行くぜ。かかってきな。遠慮するなよ。行くぜ。恐竜ラッパ。
相手にならないわ。
どうしたそんなもんだぜ。
You win。
行くぜ。かかってきな。行くぜ。恐竜ラッパ。まだまだか。行くぜ。どうしたい？遠慮するなよ。どうしたい？どうしたい？どうしたどうしたい？そんなもんだぜ。やったぜ。軽い。どうしたい？ほらよ。どうしたい？やったぜ。行くぜ。
You win.
こんなもんだぜ。
行くぜ。
Ready? Fight.
どうしたかかってきな。軽いかかってきな。
行くぜ。
一力の差さ。どうした。ほらよ。どうした。かかってきな。どうした。さて遠慮するなよ。どうした。やったぜ。
ウルトラやったぜ親父。ウルトラやったぜ親父。
Ready? Fight.
どうした軽いかかってきな。
行くぜ。
どうした。ほらよ。どうした。かかってきな。こんなもんだぜ。
ごめんね。
余裕っす。
ごめんね。ごめんね。
昇竜連覇。
バッチリ打ち合わせ通り頼みます。バッチリ期待に応えてみせます。すっごい好到来です。みんなの絡め取ります。絡め取ります。隙だらけ。食らいなさい。直行はローラン、横はメイド。さあ、お眠りなさい。行くぞテウト、フランアルファだ。バッチリ承知です。きっちり決めます。フィニッシュ。バッチリ感謝です。落ち着いてまいりますよ。遅い。さっさと退場してください。そこ。ほらほら。食らいなさい。ほらほら。隙だらけ。遅い。バッチリ期待に応えて火を持って火を救う。私にしかできない芸当ね。きれいさっぱり終わらせましょう。残念でした。
Hello. Hello. Sorry, I'm in kind of recovery mode. I had a very bad breakdown last night. Just about the cats and other things I can't control. I'm trying to just zone out and just play some games. I think that's what I need right now. That's one thing I can't control. I can't control what happened to the cats, but I can try and just relax. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. It's been a very difficult week. It's not easy to lose cats that you love and care about, but I had to basically watch it happen, so this obviously would mess up anybody. Trying to just hang on the best I can. The Warriors Abyss updates in a couple days. That's something to look forward to.
遅い
Played one good game with good hitboxes. Played a game with bad hitboxes, and you went to the game with
これで
good hitboxes.
遅い
It actually makes sense. It's quite the varied lineup
火を
you have there.
私にしかできない
Get hit and entropy effect. It feels like it's your fault. Atlin, it feels like DSP is always right. The game was wrong.
食らいなさい遅いこれで
Kind of like just don't even want
好き
to
ならこちら
make content for that game. It's fun to play casually. I don't really want to go any farther than that.
後片付けしようか
Which is fine. This and PGR are my main games. I'm not really looking for another one right now. Two or three is enough. I max out at 3. I stopped playing Zenless because I just didn't like that game that much. I'd rather play this, to be honest. It might be very contrarian, but I just think this game just treats you better. It just treats you better, and it's quicker to get through. Story at the most takes like an hour. Nothing's too frustrating. You can spend minimal amounts of money on this and actually get something done, which I really like. I'm obviously not a billionaire, so I like when I can just play casually and actually have something get done.
なんだい頼み事なら遠慮なく言ってく私
Also, there's no raids in this. There's no co-op raids, which is a big plus for me, because with my low frustration thresholds, I don't want to do any raids. I just find that to be like the worst part of those games. Just play this at my own pace. I don't have to talk to anybody. There's no toxicity. Just play the game and take it as far as you want. You want to stop, you can. The roguelike mode is a reason to keep it installed, for sure. Just build my account around that and have another roguelike in rotation. I think I'd be happy enough with that. I don't really need anything else. Well, yeah, content-wise, I just don't really want to make anything for it. There has to be a incentive for me to want to do it. Making content for those games is real crapshoot. You can get by with just making guides sometimes, but mostly people want to see whaling, and I obviously do not have the money for that. I don't have the money for that. Far from it, so. Pool videos are very popular. I'm obviously not the financial demographic to really be doing stuff like that. I couldn't do it if I wanted to. I really only make guides if I like the game, like I did for this when I was a partner. I don't really care about doing it just because it's popular. This makes you get burnt out quicker, to be honest. Just get burnt out quicker doing that. I don't think anything I did for this game did particularly well, but I actually liked playing the game. That was the difference. Yeah, see, I don't like stuff like that. I don't like stuff like that at all. It's a major turnoff for me. I'm self-aware enough to know that I have a low frustration threshold. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't. They're not as self-aware, so they play stuff like that after a bad day, and they yell at you and call you names and say gamer words and stuff. And I'm just like, you know what? I already beat myself up enough mentally as it is. I don't need randos on the internet doing it too. So I would prefer, for my mental health, to not play games like that. Because I know the negative effect it can have on me. But a lot of people aren't self-aware. They don't understand that. Like, you know, if you yell at a single-player game, you know, the game doesn't get its feelings hurt, right? You gotta really watch what you say and do when you're playing with actual people. I just don't want to... I don't want to ever be in that position, so I'd rather just mostly play stuff of myself, or I'll play co-op with people that I know. With randoms, it's not so much. Loopmancer is getting delisted. What the heck? They promised an update for that game and it never came, and now the game is just getting delisted. All right. That game had potential, but that just wasn't a very good roguelike. Tried to be like a really interesting, unique, like time loop story, and then a roguelike.
Welcome to the Ace Mind training system.
The problem was the story was depression porn because there was no good ending. I got all the endings, and then as a roguelike, it wasn't very good because there was like no variation. So it just wasn't a very good game. I feel like those developers tried. They tried really hard, but they were trying to do too much. I think it's better for it to be designed like this, where, you know, there's a story, but you can ignore it. It's not really a main focus, and then, like, this isn't even connected to BlazBlue in any way at all. The story and the BlazBlue stuff are completely disconnected. With Loopmancer, is like, they wanted to tell a story, but the roguelike stuff went against it, because you basically had to speed run the game to even get the endings, but then the endings were all depression porn because basically the guy was stuck in that time loop. There's nothing you could do to get him out, and then as a roguelike it was just boring. There wasn't anything interesting going on. The runs felt very samey. The moveset was not very varied. I guess they just couldn't get the funds to fix it. It's sad. I was hoping that they would update that game more. It did have potential. I feel like Hades has had an adverse effect on roguelikes. Everybody thinks you need to have this legendary life philosophy changing story. It's like the gameplay and the roguelike part of it should be what matters first. The story is a bonus in games like this, and because of the way that these games are designed, it's not even easy to have a story in the first place. That's the other thing they understand. You're fighting the same bosses hundreds, if not thousands of times. It's just not easy to make a story around that, but they still try. And I feel like with Loopmancer, trying to do that was part of the problem. I think they felt like they needed to put you in a time loop, the main guy in a time loop, to justify, you know, the roguelike stuff, but then, like, you can't ever get him out of it, so it just felt unfulfilling. Like, I get why the time loop stuff is there. It's to justify there to be a story reason for fighting the same dudes over and over, but I don't know, it just didn't work out. I hope the studio will survive, but they haven't put out a game in years, and Loopmancer itself had that update that was promised that never came out. So I hope that they won't be able to get back on their feet. Yeah, they definitely had the capability of making a good roguelike, but I think they tried to do too much stuff for their first game. It should have been more like this. Where there's like narrative stuff to interact with, but it doesn't really affect or ruin the gameplay in any way. You know, if you want to ignore it, you can. I do think it's dumb that this game is about Flash game robots, but you understand a little bit about how collabs work. You kind of understand why it is that way. They probably got like a laundry list of rules they had to even make this game in the first place, and one of them was probably you can't you know, progress the BlazBlue story in any way. The most you can do is an original story. Felt like the Aether Gazer collab was a little bit like that too. They didn't even voice it. It was like a cool little side thing, but it wasn't like a continuation that people wanted. Well, they probably got told they couldn't. I feel like with God Eater, it's probably even worse because, just like BlazBlue, there's no new game on the horizon. There's no new game coming. That might be part of it as well. It's like, well, if you don't allude to there being any kind of continuation of the story, then people won't ask for a sequel. They won't expect one. Crystal of Atlan is just a case of, I don't expect every hitbox to be perfect, especially with, like, characters of different sizes and they're in, like, different positions and stuff. It's not easy to do, but I think Crystal of Atlan is an outlier because it really does feel like, it feels like an MMO. MMO hitboxes are known for being jank because they never really designed it with, you know, action combat in mind. So, like, big ogre takes a swipe at you and you run away and it still hits you because you were near it when it initiated the attack. But, like, an action game should not have that because it defeats the purpose of it being an action game. It's one of the things that made Dynasty Warriors Origins work is the enemy hitboxes were very fair. If you got hit, it was your fault. And like I said, if they had made it so it was like Crystal of Atlan hitboxes, their whole goal of making you have to, like, actually respect the officers instead of comboing them to death wouldn't have worked. Sorry about that, my neighbor called. Remembers when you couldn't combo bosses in this game? Does anyone remember? you couldn't combo bosses in this game, and then they realized that, like, wait a minute, you have like a moveset on par with a character action game character in this game. Shouldn't you be able to like put the bosses in hit stun? They're like, yeah, that's stupid. We should get rid of the hyper armor. Used to not be able to combo bosses in this game. It was case-to-case... Well, no, it wasn't case-to-case basis. You pretty much just couldn't. Nothing but junk in here. Well, as I was saying, Dynasty Warriors Origins would not have worked if it had hitboxes like Crystal of Atlan, as they made a pretty major change in that they want you to respect the officers and actually pay attention to what they're doing and not just combo them to death before they can move. And like the only reason that works is the hitboxes are functional, so if you get hit, it's your fault. feel like that's just a basic necessity of an action game. And like I said, you can have a couple jank hitboxes. They don't all have to be perfect, but I think Crystal of that one is definitely one of the worst ones. This feels like none of the hitboxes make sense. Yeah, people complaining about it in PvP. Yeah, that's why I don't play PvP. I don't want to play garbage netcode and bad hitboxes. Don't see any reason to do that. Imagining doing that Lubu fight in Origins and like he slashes at you from like 4 character lengths away and you dodge through it and it still hits you. That game would be terrible. Would have been like one of the worst Musou games. But combat designers made sure that the hitboxes actually work. Which is not an easy thing to do when it's like a Musou game and it's supposed to be crazy hitboxes. And, you know, the graphic doesn't represent how far you can hit. But they managed to pull it off. What's up, man? Hello. I have to do an errand for my neighbor, and then I have to feed the cats for my other neighbor. So I'm just chilling out. You saw my crash out in my Discord. I'm not doing too well, so I'm trying to regulate with some games. Hope you're doing well. It's gonna be a very roguelike heavy week because Warriors Abyss update is in like 3 days. Some nice stuff to play on a budget. I'll have to look at the Steam sale and see if there's anything good. Gonna give me something good this time. Not that I need it, but it makes the game more fun.
いつまでそうしているつもり
No,
だ
I don't want any of this.
サーメンファイヤーサルト
The one that gives you money when you perfect clear is like really good on her because you get going, you can just be almost invincible all the time. You control her properly. It's not just spamming the grab. They actually use the grabs like less. The dive kick is really good for grouping them up. So it puts them all at the same side, right next to you, so you can chain after. She's a little bit more technical than people are giving her credit for, but yeah, she is definitely a easier character. That's fine though. You could always just make the game harder. You could just make the game harder if you you don't like having easy time. The entropy is always there as well to make it harder. Warriors Abyss update looks very good. Looks like taking a break from that game was the right call. They seem to be fixing almost everything wrong with it. I wonder if this is the last update. If this is the last update, then they're going out with a bang. And hey, I'm fine with that. That game was fun like this game is, but it felt worse in many ways. Mostly the way that the difficulty, the end game works is way worse in that game, but it looks like the update is gonna fix about as much of that as they can. Some of the characters are also getting buffs as well. I'm sure they have statistics telling them like which characters die the most. Which characters are like least used. Definitely are some that are way better than others. That's pretty cool. I'll be checking that out. It should be out on the 3rd. The endless mode for this, or the endless mode for this, or Abyss. Because Abyss is kind of getting an endless mode. It's getting like a, it's gonna be like an arcade type thing where you can expand. You can get time extensions. Sounds pretty good. I just hope the rewards are worth doing. Make it worth doing. I don't know, I could see Abyss, see endless mode in this being very bad. It depends on how much the enemies scale, because a lot of the fun of this game is the pacing. The pacing in this game is like really good. If you're playing properly, like nothing really survives for very long. So if they just turn it into stat bloat, I'm not sure I'm down for that. Because that's exactly the problem with Warriors Abyss, is the hard difficulty is nothing like this game. It's just stats and just insane amount of stat bloat, and I don't find that fun. It's always my least favorite kind of challenge. it'll depend on how they, balance it. If player power is able to keep up with scaling in endless mode, then it could be fun. But if it's like Warrior's Abyss, where you plateau very quick, and the stat load on the higher difficulties is way too high, then it won't be fun. So, I think it's a very risky thing to add to the game. Especially if they tie, like, some kind of reward to it. Like, I don't know, letting you get more meta progression or something. That sounds cool on paper, but what's the discrepancy going to be between player and enemy? Because even on the harder difficulties in this, you can kill things pretty quick. It just depends on your execution and the decisions you make. It's like an endless mode in this sounds cool, but I've just played a ton of roguelikes. I don't know if they can balance it properly. It's just gonna be a bunch of HP sponges like Abyss, then I don't know if I'll care. Well, they pretty much won't fix wilds. It's not something that will happen. It's a problem with the engine. They're hoping people will still buy it, so you just kind of don't talk about it. But yeah, that game is a mess. Well, I mean, when, like, people with content creator PCs can barely run it, how do they expect it to have a consistent player base? Just like free-to-play games right now are in the same spot. Like, it is not trivial to play, like, Zenless Zone Zero or Withering Waves. Those are, like, the most mainstream gachas right now. You definitely cannot play those on a budget. The closest you can get is a PS5, which is still like $500. And even then, the frame drops are pretty bad, so despite those games having average combat, the frame rate is always against you unless you're on PC. I don't really understand what's going on, because I'm used to free games being like the cheapest thing that you can play. You have a computer that could like use the internet, you could, you know, play those games, and now that's not what it's like at all. I know this because I used to play DFO on a laptop with no graphics card. It had integrated graphics, and it could still play DFO. You know, it could do like emulators and DFO. That's why I'd just rather have no raids at all. It's the same problem in every game. Nobody wants to actually help each other out. They all want the fast clear. And I understand, because the games are designed to make you do it over and over and over. I understand that people, like, don't want to waste time. They want it to be done quick, but the game should incentivize you actually wanting to play with people. But a lot of times that's not what happens. They don't put in, like, basic stuff like that that would make it better. Yeah, it's definitely a problem if, like, a cooperative mode doesn't encourage completion. It's just getting to a certain point and leaving. PSO2 tower defense was like that. People would leave. If they felt like it wasn't going to clear, they would leave. But the problem was PSO2 did not have any kind of notification that people were leaving. So what rage quitting did in that game is it wasted a half hour of people's time, because it was 30 minutes. It was like 20-30 minutes if I remember correctly. And if people left, I mean, it's basically impossible. Like, even because the way that it was designed, it was a very big area, so even if somebody was a whale and they had, like, maxed out stuffs, it doesn't really matter, because you need the body, the head count to, like, actually complete all the tasks and protect the towers. So what people would do is people would leave, and then suddenly you're fighting your heart out, and it's worthless. It's fruitless to do it, because there's just not enough people to cover all the bases. So regardless of your or anyone else's performance, it was impossible. So that just causes more people to rage quit. More people rage quit. If a few bad apples do it, then it encourages everyone else to do it, because it's different than, like, a Crystal of Atlan raid where it's just a small contained room. You know, if somebody leaves and there's a whale in the party, it may not even make a difference. But in PSO2, rage quitting was actually really bad. It ruined the experience for everybody. I actually think Time Attack was the closest you could get to a toxic raid in that game. It's like, well, if 2 people rage quit, then somebody else will notice that 2 people are gone, and it's for 12 players. So then somebody else will rage quit, and then just repeats until there's no one left. But unless you pause, you won't notice. Like, I think they started de-emphasizing Time Attack after a while because they noticed that people were doing that, and the system was just flawed. If one person rage quits, it just caused a snowball effect where there wasn't a reason to keep playing. And it didn't help that, like, it was timed. You know, it was an emergency quest, so there's not really any point in sticking around a match that's doomed to fail. I actually think it was, like, the worst part of that game. Because, like, the other emergency quests were pretty chill. As long as you're at least, like, trying to hit the boss, you can pretty much clear, like, every time. Problem with tower defense in DFO is requiring teamwork in a game that, like, didn't necessarily need a whole lot of that. And then also not punishing rage quitters. Not punishing rage quitters and then putting it on a strict 30-minute time limit. So that just encourages people to rage quit. The game shouldn't encourage people to rage quit in the first place. It's really bad when the game encourages it and then like also has a time limit, so people don't have a reason to stick around. Worse than DFO? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I wholeheartedly agree. It feels like a case of if it actually is better in the later level caps, then they should have just either given us those balance changes like they did for PSO2 Global, or just skip the 60 cap entirely. Because people just aren't going to have patience for that. There are countless other online games to play right now. I think they're out of their mind if they think people are going to put up with that forever. I already only play the game casually. It's just I could just play like Aether Gazer and PTR, which don't have that stuff, and also respect my time and money. Damn, destroyed. Nice. Dragon is Dead is pretty much retired. The game served me well, but 1.0 of that game is just a mess. The build diversity got gutted and all the bugs, and most of the bugs have been fixed, but the build diversity has not. The mythic items are just simply too strong, and then there's all that RNG to get them to have the right stat that you want. And the game just doesn't have enough content to warrant doing that. If they increase the rates of the Annihilation Crystals so that getting a perfect item in my lifetime without cheating was something remotely feasible, I would continue to play it, but it really does have a Korean MMO grind to optimizing your character, and because everybody just equips like half of the same stuff now, the unique hook of the game, which is you keep your build is static. I mean, you can change it, but it doesn't change between runs unless you want it to. That whole hook of the game is partially gone. It's not entirely gone, because you don't want to put a mythic in every slot, but like literally half of them, the mythic is best in slot. So I feel like that unique gimmick or trait of the game is kind of just gone. So I don't really see a reason to play it over this right now, unfortunately. You know, the runs in this game are pretty static if you make the right choices, but Dragon is Dead was supposed to be, you know, the unique thing is that you you upgrade your build and you keep it throughout runs and you make it stronger, or you can switch. But when they added the mythic items, that kind of all just went out the window. And the whole game is basically getting the mythic item to drop and then spending an unhealthy amount of time trying to get the right thing you want on it. And you only get like 2 attempts. You only get like 2 attempts every completed run. You don't get anything for beating the game. You only get 2 attempts, and the drop rate is like 5% for a legendary. And then it has to be the one you want, so you have to like... It has to be on the right affix, and each mythic item has 4 affixes, so... If they fix those things, I would keep playing it, but I feel pretty happy with how much I got out of it. Like, if I wanted a more static roguelike, then there's no reason to play Dragon is Dead anymore. I know that they added a couple more legendaries, but it like doesn't fix the problem. It's exactly the same problem that Diablo 3 had when they introduced the set items. That was the problem with Diablo 3, right? Was they had like interesting legendaries and stuff that could change how you played, but the green items, which coincidentally are also green in Dragon is Dead, they would make you do like 20,000% more damage. So, as cool as the legendaries were, there just wasn't really any reason to use them, because the set items were so much better. And that's pretty much where Dragon is Dead is now. I mean, it's not quite that bad, but it's also worse in some ways, because at least in Diablo 3, the green items are like partially static, but you have to get one with the right amount on the affix, and then you have to gamble for the affix, and you get like 2 attempts every 45 minutes of playing the game. It's a 5% chance, and then also, you know, it goes on any affix at once. It might not go on the right one. I really can't fathom what they were thinking with doing that, because it's like, if the rates are going to be that low, that feels like something in a free-to-play game, right? Where the shortcut is to spend money. It's like, you know, what if you donate $10? What if you donate $10 and then that problem mostly goes away? The problem is the game doesn't have that. So I could play that game like all kitty sitting stream for the rest of the year and not have one optimized mythic item in that game. And that's what kind of made me step away. It's like, the average kitty sitting stream is under 2 hours, right? So you factor in a full run takes 40 to 45 minutes. I could do 3 runs a stream, and if they all completed, that would be only 6 attempts. 6 attempts to get what I want. With 5% rates. Like, there's just no reason to keep playing that game. I hope that they will fix it, because it is a really good game, but I don't know. That 1.0 update feels like it was designed for a free-to-play gacha, and not something that you just buy once. I really don't understand why they designed it that way. I think they wanted more content. They wanted more reasons to keep you playing, but they didn't have money to actually add more stuff to it. So it's like gambling in games like this, but without any kind of pity system or failsafe. Literally just play only that game and get nothing.
The Dark Flame Expeller. Looks like we're close to the heart of the nest.
Wouldn't be the first game I've got that I bought that has been partially ruined by early access. Probably won't be the last either. I don't know about you guys, I'm getting really tired of like single-player, one-time purchase games having free-to-play mechanics and like RNG and stuff. I'm getting actually really tired of that. It's one of the most exhausting things. If you're gonna put that in a $20 indie game with a couple dozen hours of content, then I'm better off just playing the free game at that point. Because the free game will have way more content over time. But there's like no benefit to playing a single-player indie game if they're just gonna put that stuff in it. You know, I don't let myself get too addicted to games like this because most of my viewership is the single-player games and not stuff like this. But then, like, the single-player games are just doing it too. Dragon is dead. I gave myself like tens of thousands of those crystals, and I only just barely got what I wanted. So when you consider you get like 30 for a maxed out run, those rates are way too low. Like legit playing the game for hundreds of hours, and probably not getting lucky. Which is not something that should be in a, you know, one-time purchase game. I would expect that in something like this, you know, to keep you playing, but not something with a finite amount of content that won't be supported forever.
Leeching energy from the bug eggs. Hurry and stop her. Hurry! Great. Her energy isn't restored.
Yeah, Relink is a perfect example. That was a full $60 game, and it had free-to-play MMO stuff. Like, why? Why? Usually things like that are done to incentivize donations to the game. But like, if I already gave you more than the average person's gonna spend on a game like this in a year, then why do you have that stuff in there in the first place?
The void's got her. Attack! Now!
Yeah, I like how people justified that grind. They justified that grind by saying you could make a auto bot script to play the game for you. I'm like, just cheat it in at that point. What benefit do you have out of not cheating it in? The game is not respecting your time. People are like setting up bot scripts and macros. Like, just cheat it in, man. Like, come on. Don't reward them with your time if they're not going to respect your time. That's exactly what I did. The game doesn't deserve to be on all night. Yeah, what's the best team for not playing the game because the game does not incentivize actually playing it? It incentivizes using an AFK macro or just cheating. I'm like, that's a problem with the way the game is designed. I'd argue at that point, don't even respect the game with your fully undivided attention at that point. A $60 game should not have stuff like that, period. That's the whole point of paying for a game like that instead of something like this, which is free to start, but, you know, inevitably you're gonna have to spend money if you want to have fun playing it. Like, I don't particularly mind that. I just mind it when a full-priced game does it. Most free-to-play games are not actually free-to-play, it's more like they're free to start. There's always like some kind of paywall. Now, the really bad games, it's like hundreds of dollars, but in something like this, it's basically just like buying the battle pass and the monthly card. And like, you're pretty much gonna have to buy it if you want to take the game seriously, because your progression is so much slower without it. But at the same time, if you only get it on your main character, it's like $10 a month. I think even with the stamina system, this provides enough entertainment for $10 a month. But if you play completely free, the game is miserable. But like, I don't want to deal with that when I pay premium price. Like, that stuff needs to go away. You might as well just make the game free to start at that point. This whole fight is stupid because it's just an auto-scroller. It's partially an auto-scroller. Like, very little of what you do actually matters. It's just a really nice-looking auto-scroller. There's barely any gameplay. Might as well just give you the item the moment you press accept. It's like barely even what I would consider to be a actual event. The God Eater collab was a lot better with a fraction of the budget. The God Eater collab with Aethergazer was a lot better. She actually got like 2 playable characters and got a lot of nice stuff from the games. Well, I think the problem with this collab is that I think they want... The reason there's no challenge is because they want people... They want people to be able to experience the collab without, like, necessarily spending a lot of time on the game, but the way that the fight is designed is very boring because it's a partial auto-scroller. That's kind of the problem with collabs in service games, is that they can't just make it for endgame people, because people might actually start playing the game because of the collab. So they have to make sure that you can get to the collab stuff pretty quick. But when you try to do like a raid like that with actual human players, it's pretty much always going to be like that. Because if you make it too hard, then people that are playing for the collab will stop playing, and obviously you don't want that, because the whole point of the game is to get people to donate, right? Get people to donate to the game. That's why I think, like, the DMC collab on PGR is going to be one of the best collabs, because you can get both of them S rank for, like, minimal investment, and if you start playing because of the game, like a lot of people have already, you can get both of them pretty decked out with, like, spending little to no money. And you get to experience all the content without being tied to a player base or online or netcode or anything. That One Punch Man collab is pretty bad, I think, because they're trying to force co-op onto it. It should just be, you know, the co-op stuff should be a bonus, not like the only reason. Well, I'll show you guys the God Eater collab really quick, and then I think I have to go pretty soon, because I've got some stuff to do tonight. There might not be a kitty sitting stream tonight. We'll see. I don't really have anything to stream over there right now. I'll start playing Warriors Abyss again when the update drops in a few days, but kind of got a couple dead days, so I don't know if I'll stream over there. We'll see. I'll show you guys this collab. This collab was pretty good. They had this here, which is basically a lot of little mini games. I think what was nice about this is that you could clear it pretty quick. You could get all the rewards out of it pretty quick. Most of the stuff that matters, you get pretty quick. It was a relatively short collab. I think it was only like 3 weeks. I came in like a week after and I got everything done. Very time respectful. You get pretty much everything. They got a little story in here. It wasn't like groundbreaking. It's just a side story, and like none of it was voiced, but they put a lot of work into their movesets. They're actually really fun to play, and I think it also helps that power creep in this game is nowhere near as bad as something like PGR, where Dante and Virgil are going to be power crept very quick. Because right now, they tried to fix it by making them not main elements meta. They're side element meta, but they're obviously not going to make it so that the only meta that you can have for side element, even though it's like extra content, mostly for people that are very invested, they're not going to let them be meta forever. So they'll stop being relevant in endgame content within like a year. The benefit to this game is that the power creep is very minimal. This is also a much more relaxed game compared to a lot of the other action gachas. Like, if you build your team properly and you have the right synergies and you have them built properly, you can clear pretty much everything for the most part. And the things you can't clear give very minimal rewards compared to the stuff that everybody can clear. So, if you like using the God Eater characters, provided that you invested in them properly, like you got them their weapon and minimum SS, you know, they're usable for endgame content. That's one of the biggest benefits to this collab. But I also like that it really respected your time. There's not too much to do, but also they weren't expecting you to be on like every single day. You could take a week break and still get everything done. I thought it was really good. I managed to get everything for both of them. I got the signature functor for both of them. I just barely got this one, but luckily I did enough grinding because I think the collab expires by the time I get paid, so I couldn't donate to the game right now if I wanted to. But luckily I got the grinding done, so now she's like actually one of my stronger characters. Really fun to play as well. But yeah, I think that's how a collab should be done. The One Punch Man one in comparison is worse. Alright, let me call my neighbor and see if she's ready for me to help her with carrying stuff. And if she is, I'm going to go. If not, I might do like one more game. So give me a moment here. Alright, looks like there's no logistics work tonight. I think I'm just going to call it there anyway. I kind of want to cool off and have some water, have a popsicle. I might actually stream over there tonight. I got some new indie games to play. Probably won't be any Entropy Effect, but I've got some cool indie games to play. I might play some of those. I got the Dragon Ball Xenoverse DLC as well to check out, so that'll probably be the stream tonight. I do have to be up in the morning, so I don't know if I'll be up for hanging out tonight. I'll definitely ping you if I am up for it. But yeah, I'm gonna be taking it easy for a while, folks. I really have not been doing well after the incident with the cats dying, so I'm just gonna take it easy for a while. But there is the Warriors Abyss update is on like the 3rd, so that's pretty exciting. That's gonna be on Thursday, so I'll try to get time off for that. Otherwise, we'll check it out on the kitty sitting stream. But yeah, I'm gonna be taking it easy for a bit. I think my mental health is understandably in the toilet because of what I had to deal with this past week. But there's some good stuff coming out. I'll definitely be checking it out. I'll see you guys. I'd estimate like 3 hours. I'll probably stream over there because their house is air conditioned and mine isn't right now. So I think it'll be good to play some games over there and just chill out. I'll see you guys then. Good night.